right? So keep those signs up, everybody, as we're going through the day. I want to tell you that you all look beautiful, and I'm really thrilled. I couldn't be happier with the turnout. Give yourself a round of applause and chants. All right, so I want to bring up the first speaker for the day, and everybody knows that Kai Alum is not going to be able to join us, but he does send best wishes, and we should send him good energy for a speedy recovery. But I'm going to bring up Lourdes Hunter, who is my friend and a fierce advocate. She is originally from Detroit, and she's been involved with community organizing for over 20 years. Her leadership influenced development and implementation of trans-inclusive, culturally competent policy reform and best practices in New York City and agencies all over the boroughs. She is the co-founder of the Trans Women of Color Collective. Yeah, go ahead. Lourdes, are you out there, Lourdes? Where are you? All right, there we go. Lourdes' leadership is galvanizing a transformative movement of sustainable initiatives that support and empower and uplift trans women of color to be the writers of their own narratives. We tell our own stories. Lourdes, come on up here. Lourdes is a force to be reckoned with and a fierce, unapologetic advocate for trans rights and human rights.
Good afternoon, New York State. Hello, Albany. Ithaca, wine country. Where are you, Buffalo? Western New York? New York City, make some noise. Yes, I am Lourdes Ashley Hunter, and I am the co-founder of the Trans Women of Color Collective of Greater New York, and I bring you greetings all the way from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. I am here to let you know that my liberation depends on your liberation. Turn to your neighbor and tell them, my liberation depends on your liberation. Let me hear you say it. That's right. Turn around and look at all of the beautiful faces out here. The many shades and variations of our magnificent community, the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, gender nonconforming, two-spirited, however you identify, we all deserve to live and thrive unapologetically in our truths. I also want to make a shout out to our allies, our partners, our families and friends. Shout outs to our parents and our grandparents. We need you and we appreciate you. We are here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to make our presence known here in Albany. We are here to celebrate life, and we are here because our lives matter. The lives of our young people matter. The lives of our seniors matter. Trans lives matter. Let me say it again. Trans lives matter. We are people. We have families. We are doctors. We are lawyers, service providers. We are taxpayers. And most importantly, we are voters. Every 3 days, another trans person is murdered, and that is something that needs to be noted. Alon Nettles, we speak your name. Amanda Milan, we speak your name. Carmilla Guzman, we speak your name. The mortality rate of a black trans woman is 35 years old. That means a lot of us are not supposed to be here. That means that I'm not supposed to be here. Today we are here to fight because we all deserve the right to breathe, the right to thrive, the right to raise a family and secure their legacy just like the rest of New York families. Now more than ever, we need radical and revolutionary legislative reform that protects all New Yorkers from housing discrimination, employment discrimination, violence, and bigotry. You can make some noise. All New Yorkers deserve the right to access housing, employment, health care, and educational opportunities. We do not need policies that further promote the prison industrial complex. Let me tell you something. There is a pipeline from preschool to prison in communities of color. Let me say that again, because you may not have heard me. They are funneling black and brown bodies into failed systems that are designed to destroy our families, our communities of color. Not one more. Now more than ever, our community needs to start thinking about our future generations. What are we leaving behind for them to build upon? What will be their legacy? It is time for us to create opportunities for our youth to be creative, to explore their passions, and to pursue their dreams. 68% of LGBT youth experience family rejection. That's 68%. 40% of our LGBT youth are homeless. This is a tragedy. What are we doing to our young people? Not one more. Not one more. Not one more. Not one more. Now is the time and today is the day for us to create revolutionary and sustainable change for our young people. Make some noise for our young people. It is up to us to pave the way for future generations to be able to be afforded the opportunity to live unapologetically and authentically in their truth. New York State, in the words of Ashata Shakur, it is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and we must support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. New York State, thank you so much.
All right, I get to bring my white self up here after that. Thank you so much. I have the pleasure now of introducing our next speaker, that is Corbin Street. Corbin has worked in the movement to end domestic violence for several years in both direct service and statewide advocacy capacity. He and his partner, Curran, have been together for over a decade and have experienced been in the second parent adoption process from 2010 to 2011 as they prepared for the arrival of their first child, who's here today as well, Riley. He and his spouse, Curran Street, of the Pride Center of the Capital Region, yay! They are also gentle and fierce advocates for their family and for our entire community. I'm going to bring Corbin up here right now to tell us about his experience with the child-parent security issues. Oh, the whole family's coming up. All right, nice.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing today? Good. I was hoping Riley'd make the speech, but she's a little shy right now. So my name's Corbin, and just like all of you out there, I'm a lot of different things to a lot of different people on any given day. I'm a Southern transplant. I'm a social worker. I'm an introvert, so being up here is, ooh. I'm trans. I'm a partner, and I'm a dad. And there we go. You say hi? Say hi. So this last part's what I'm here to talk a little bit about today, how our family came to be, and about our experience with second parent adoption in New York State, and about how the CPSA is so important to our community. My partner, Kern, and I were together for around 7 years when we decided to get pregnant. And as a queer-identified family, this adventure not only took more thought and planning than it does most other couples in our state, but it took an exorbitant amount of money and time jumping through a lot of bureaucratic hoops. We chose to have a known donor and conceived at home. And while cost savings wasn't a part of our motivation for that, it did save us a lot of money compared to what other LGBTQ couples spend trying to conceive in our state. All we had to pay for was the price of a plane ticket, so we were lucky on that end. But that's where the bureaucracy-free cost savings ended. It was important to us that I be able to legally adopt Riley. It was the only option we had at that point that would solidify and guarantee both my rights and my responsibilities as her parent. The process was lengthy, invasive, stressful, and expensive, but we persisted, believing it was important for our family to be protected. As soon as we conceived, we had to begin consulting with an attorney about the second parent adoption process. We were told that we would need to have multiple home visits conducted by a social worker, both before and after our child's birth. Both of us would have to be fingerprinted and have criminal background checks run on us. Yes, Curran, who was pregnant with our child, had to get fingerprinted and have a background check run because she was living in the house with me, who was applying for adoption. Absolutely. We had to have letters of reference written. We had to give our life story in great detail. We were questioned about our parenting philosophy, which is people who'd never parented before. All of that is a good thing for a person to consider as they prepare, but to have it be assessed by a third party inside of a culture that's historically full of irrational fear and bigotry of LGBTQ people and families not only made us question if we were really fit to be parents, but also that because of who we are, the state had some right to dictate what kind of protection our family deserves. By the time it was all said and done, we had our privacy turned inside out, and we were thousands of dollars in debt trying to pay off the ability to adopt her. We completed as much of it as we could prior to Riley's birth. As most new parents can tell you, every minute immediately following the first time you lay eyes on your child is a minute filled with complete and utter awe, coupled with overwhelming anxiety. Time behaves differently after birth. It slows and stretches, colors are brighter, sounds are more crisp. I don't know if it's the sleep deprivation or just the magic of biology, but after she was born, New York state law required us to wait 45 days before our donor would be allowed to waive his rights. Our donor and his family at the time of Riley's birth had legal right and responsibility that I didn't have. And if anything had happened to Curran, his family could come and try to take her away. I wouldn't have any say over it. It was the longest 45 days of my life. So go tell your legislator to vote yes for the Child Parent Security Act. It will allow courts to legally recognize the intended parents as the child's parents from birth, protecting both parents and the child. And New Yorkers wishing to act as gestational carrier will be able to be compensated for their invaluable service and be assured that they won't be burdened with unwanted parental responsibility. Medical staff attending the birth of a child will know who the legal parents are and will know who has the legal authority to make medical decisions on behalf of the child. As ESPA so eloquently put it, we must make it easier for non-biological parents to protect their children without forcing them to undergo invasive scrutiny and the cost of second parent adoption. And that's why Curran and I and Riley are here today, and all of you are here today, to help change New York law so that families like ours will be better protected, that they'll be able to enjoy that most sacred time during pregnancy and the first few days, weeks, and months after birth, getting to know their baby without the invasion of privacy and fear of loss that hovered over us. As anyone who's a parent knows, it's a life-changing, exhilarating, surreal, and stressful time. The added stress of lacking legal rights after having had your privacy and bank account invaded for months prior creates an undue burden on families like ours. So go change the law, y'all.
Thank you so much. Thank you to both. It's really so compelling to hear first account stories. Telling our stories is so incredibly important. Thank you for sharing yours.
Good afternoon. I am thrilled to be here with you today. I'm representing a faith tradition called the United Church of Christ that has long been a voice for inclusion, equality, justice for all people, regardless of gender identity or expression, and one that has fully accepted me as an out, proud gay man within the ranks of its clergy. They've also welcomed a man who will become my husband in a couple of months. In fact, I serve a denomination that was the first one to ordain a gay person to ministry over 40 years ago. Among our clergy and congregants are many lesbian, gay, bisexual, and trans persons who, over the last several years, we have altered our language to be inclusive of gender identity and expression. And this is one of the reasons that I'm here today to call upon our state government to add gender identity and expression to existing human rights law. It's time we finish the task. In addition to that, as a faith leader and a person who does much spiritual counseling, I often witness the devastating effects of this pseudo-psychological practice of conversion therapy. Unfortunately, these attempts at gender reorientation are not just an exercise in futility. We know that. But these efforts also do serious damage to the health and well-being of adults and young people who feel pressured by one subculture or another to conform to the expectations of others. This must stop. The American Psychiatric Association long ago removed same-sex attraction and gender nonconformity from its list of mental disorders. So-called conversion therapies exist with no rules or guidelines like the ones that provide basic accountability in other therapeutic environments. I am a survivor of conversion therapy, and I call upon New York State government to follow the lead of California and New Jersey to pass legislation that would protect anyone under the age of 18 from being subjected to such coercive practices. And once we get that done, we'll outlaw it completely. As LGBTQ New Yorkers, I want to state unequivocally, there are people of faith like me who care deeply about issues of equality and justice, and I'm here to join these efforts and to support you wherever I can. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, I'm freezing. Who's cold? All right, we're going to bring out the last speaker, and then we're going to head back into the Convention Center for legislative meetings and more workshops. I just want to make two announcements, though. Somebody lost an iPad, so if you picked up an iPad, please return it to one of the information desks in the Convention Center. And I also want to let you know, for those of you who are going to legislative meetings in the afternoon, there are materials on the information table that you can leave behind to give to your legislator so that he or she has the information that you share when you leave. So please pick up some of those materials when you return. Okay, so now I'm going to bring out Matthew Shurka. Matthew was born and raised in Great Neck, New York. Let's hear it for Long Island. Matthew was 16 years old when he came out to his father about being gay, and he endured several so-called conversion therapists from ages 16 to 21. He's now 25 years old and is open and proud, and since coming out in 2012, he's been a strong national advocate for banning these destructive practices on our minors. Matthew is studying public affairs at Baruch and is continuing his studies to pursue his dream of becoming an architect. This guy is a whirlwind. He gets things done, and it's been great to work with him, and he knows his stuff, so I'm going to bring him up here to tell us about his experience, another great story, or horrific and important story. All right. Hold on to this, because it's wobbly.
Oh, thank you. Is this wobbly? Hello, everyone. Hello, Albany. I hope they can hear me up there. So we got to be loud. So my name is Matthew Shurka. I want to thank all of you for being here today. and joining me and Pride Agenda on a huge, significant, important day. We're, really standing up for several laws, specifically for myself. I'm here to support the ban on conversion therapy, so thank you for your generosity and thank you for being here. You can be loud, don't worry, you can be loud. So I'm gonna share a little bit about myself. When I was 16 years old, growing up on Long Island, I confronted my father and shared with him about when I thought I was gay. And my father gave me the best answer any son could have asked for, which is, I love you no matter what, and I will always be by your side. So from that moment on, I thought I was off the hook. I jumped the biggest hurdle in my life, and everything was gonna be smooth sailing from there. But I was wrong. You see, my father inherited ideas of his life that homosexuals are not accepted. Homosexuals live more difficult lives and can be discriminated against and even harmed. So you can imagine he was worried. He began to look for options, and he came across a so-called conversion therapist who gave him the hope that I could change and that I could be fixed, maybe even as soon as 6 weeks. So my father believed he had found the answer for me, and now I was scared. I was beginning to inherit the same ideas that my father had inherited. What if I don't succeed in life? What if my community doesn't accept me? Or worse, even my own father? So I gave the therapy my best. For 5 years, I endured 4 therapists. I was told to stay away from my mother and my sisters so I sure wouldn't become effeminate. I then was told to be one of the guys, and that worked. I did. However, with a really big cost. I started to fail in school. I contemplated suicide. I blamed my parents for making me gay, and I suffered years of depression. And apparently, somewhere between becoming one of the guys and watching straight pornography, I would discover my heterosexuality. After breaking the hearts of the many women I dated and being estranged from my family, which I loved so much for 5 years, I was able to come out at 23 years old again. Through friends, mentors, and the LGBT community, I got the support and love I needed to make it through. Conversion therapy took me away from my family, my dreams, my education, but I didn't commit suicide, and I am here today. You guys are making me really proud. So I am here to advocate for the ban that would stop licensed therapists from performing conversion therapy on our youth. I will turn 26 this year. It was 10 years ago I started my conversion therapy, 10 years of hardship, 10 years to find out something I already knew, that I am a gay man and I am a proud gay man. I knew everything that I wanted to do with my life, and I'm only experiencing it now. Let's not let another LGBT person lose years of their life. The time has come that LGBT people do not have to live in fear of not being accepted, of being discriminated against or harmed. I do not have to change. I am perfect the way I am. And my children will inherit a world of love and acceptance. Thank you so much.
All right, you guys are beautiful. I love you all for coming to E&J Day. I hope you come next year. Tell your friends. We need recruiters all over the state. Next year, double this. Bring a friend. Bring 2 friends. Okay, I'm going to let you go. Now, if you're going to legislative meetings, you're going to the Capitol or the LOB. There's only one way in, and you have to go through security, or you can go back the way you came. But leave some time, because you got to go through security to get into the Capitol. Thank you, and have a good rest of the E&J Day.